Okay, John, thank you for helping me to validate this assessment tool.
No.
You already have a certificate for in training and education, so you know it'll be quite. You know what you're talking about. So let's go. So be anything you don't like or you think is not quite right, let me know about it. Okay.
Okay, not a problem.
All right. So just to fill in a bit of background, the training is in how to make a presentation, short presentation, BSB MM 401, I think, if I remember rightly. We'll see it down here later. And so, how to make a presentation? So what I've got here in this table of, and it's for 8 supervisors from a theoretical construction firm. Assessment plan, first couple of pages, cover sheet. I've got information and instructions for candidates. I have then 4 assessment instruments. Okay. So there's a checklist, a practical task description, written questions, and I've combined that with a self-reflective log, and a final quiz. I also have a marking guide for assessors for all these things. And the record of assessment results, the competency maps, and the report that we make on this validation. A couple of other things later on that we don't need to know about really. So here's my sort of initial general information. Okay, so I've got the details of the training, the RTO, dates, etc., etc., and the assessment activities. So the assessment sort of the things that will be assessed are: can they prepare a they prepare a presentation, and can they making 2 presentations. Quizzes will be another method of finding out, and the written questions and log. So can you see anything? Well, for preparations, the evidence will be in the preparation documents. There'll be some written questions covering this area. Some questions in the quiz, final quiz, and some elements of the observation checklist will also cover preparation.
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
So the presentations themselves, 2 5-minute presentations, so they're not very big, or it's not that big a task. And that the instrument I'll use for that is the observer checklist, which we'll look at later. Okay, so
yeah.
And supplementary evidence will be obtained through a quiz, a final quiz, which I really should. I'm just going to have 1 quiz, so I'll change that. I've got quizzes. And 4th, written questions, which we'll look at, and a reflective log to be handed in a couple of weeks after the end of training. Okay, so anything there that you want to talk about?
Okay, let's have a quick look. Checklist, presentation of documents. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so the venue, I've got here a list of the resources that will be needed to conduct these assessments. So, rooms, computers, all that sort of stuff,
yeah.
whiteboards.
Can I ask one quick question on that?
Yeah, sure.
When they do their final hand in after 2 weeks,
yeah,
who will sign it off? Their manager or?
Well, they will sign it off and send it to
Yeah.
ABC Training House. And
Oh, okay.
They-
But
they
they
don't-
won't have somebody above them who will sign off that they've completed.
No. They'll just send
okay.
it straight to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Safe. So we're taking care of the venue, the documentation I need to assess competence. This assessment tool, for example. Safety considerations. Who needs to be informed about the assessment, and assessment support and reasonable adjustment. Okay. So they can put in a claim for reasonable adjustment if there's some problem there.
Okay. Will they have can they get back up if they're like their English is not so good?
Well, yeah, that'll be there'll be LLN assessment prior to the assessment taking place. So
almost when they do the registration.
Yeah, around then, and if there's problems there, then we'll get them up to speed through some through modification and LLN coaching.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so there's the assessment cover sheet. That's what the candidates fill in. Yeah, go on.
Go back to it a sec. Sorry.
That's all right. Yeah.
Does that have anywhere where they can say?
Oh, like feedback.
Yeah.
Feedback's at the end. There's a separate document for that.
Okay.
So this is just before they do the course. Before they do the assessment, they sign this to say that they've, to declare their work to be their work and to say they've received all the information. Okay. So this is the feedback. Yeah, they'll give that later.
Yeah.
Here's just the information, about the assessment. So I've got prepare and presentation. Well, this is what they need to do, and what the assessment will be for that. Prepare a presentation, making a presentation, what they need to do to get a tick on that, and the written questions and quiz, what they need to do there. Okay, so the requirements for a competent result, and other things they need to know about the presentation. The assessment, I should say.
Okay. Yeah. That's just competent or not competent, just straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably the best way.
Or not yet competent, actually. Competent or not yet competent seems to be the go, so that they can feel that they may become competent. Okay, so here we have my observation checklist. Okay. Preparing and delivering a presentation. I put them together because it's a fairly short course and I don't want to overcomplicate things. So, and the written questions, I'll see the documentation and be able to see, my criteria here is on the preparation. Did the candidate prepare the session adequately and have a comprehensive plan with introduction, body, and conclusion? So that will be based on my assessment of the planning documents they bring along. Okay. So then the rest of the observation checklist here is about the presentation itself. So I guess you can see those next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Engage in the audience, ask any questions. That's a good idea. It's informative, effective, not distracting. Yes. Yeah, because quite often what they see and you see don't have to be exactly the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, so and there's
That's very important. Maintain eye contact.
Yeah.
You need to do that.
so there's where I sign off on it. So that's assessment instrument 1. Number 2 is an instrument for the practical task, for their what needs to be done, their instructions. Okay, prepare and deliver 2 5 minutes presentations, subjects of their choice.
That's a great idea, because a lot of people, if you give them something that you have to do it on this, will go to see. But if you give them something that they're passionate about, they can fly through it.
That's right. And people will have different interests, and so these are the instructions really that sort of generally match those criteria. Some added things, they have to deliver it safely, engage the audience, satisfactory presentation technique, appropriately in regard to audience language and level LLN needs, and with satisfactory planning documents. So that's what they need to do. And the assessor instructions here are to use the checklist that we just talked about here.
Okay, yeah.
And the evidence is that checklist, the plan, and they also have to gather audience feedback forms.
Okay, so that initial one you'll use again and again for each section.
For each presentation. Yeah. So this is the written questions and the self-reflective log to be handed in a couple of weeks after the end of the course. So instructions to candidates, what needs to be, what they need to do to complete it. And later on, I'll show you that I have a marking guide, which hits the right answers for these. So describe a couple of logistical factors you must consider in the preparation stage of making a presentation, and explain why these factors are important. Okay, so we'll see I might as well deal with it now, but we'll see in the marking guide that, logistical factors, the room, the equipment, the resources, the safety factors, LLN factors, they have to hit on a couple of these.
Yeah, and time as well.
And time, of course, yes.
Very important.
2 types of presentation aids or materials you could use. Well, this is you might use a PowerPoint, or you might use a whiteboard, or if you're giving a talk about football, you might actually hold up a football. So objects and stuff like that. Language learning and numeracy conditions is my next question. So how would that sort of alter the, if there were language learning and numeric considerations, how would that affect the preparation, and delivery? What would you need to change? So it's just the thing
about stuff like that is if you know you have people who have poor numeracy or poor language skills, you may have to have somebody in with them to.
Well, he may, yes.
To explain.
But this would be from the group of supervisors who they will know.
Yeah.
And if they know that somebody's got poor language skills, well, they will have to pitch the presentation so that everyone can understand it.
Yeah.
Even if they have some language problems. Features of a presentation that will enhance audience engagement. So you just need to work out what you do here. I'd maintain eye contact, or start off with a an interesting quote or things of that sort.
Well, the other one you can do is to start off with is get everybody to introduce themselves to everyone else.
That's a possibility
Because
too. Yeah.
one of the things is if it's a reasonable sized company, half the guys won't know each other.
Well,
anyway.
that's true. Yeah.
And it makes it a lot easier for people, for everyone to have a little spill. To
Yeah.
give a little bit
Well,
of
I mean, that's something I do in the training process as well.
Yeah.
So they do that before. Okay, so outline the parts of a presentation. So they need to have read, the material on this, or and describe a systematic way of how to review and evaluate the presentation. So in the self-reflective log, really just the standard sort of self-reflective log. What was good in your presentation and planning? What could you have done better? How will you go about getting better? And also I added a question about, talk about the other presentations in the class. So, and I'll tell them that, so they'll need to be listening, and taking note. So so assessment instrument 4 is a simple. I've got a number of true and false questions, and a number of multiple choice, right? So just to give one sample, PowerPoint slides must be used in each presentation. True or false? Well, it's false. You don't always need to use PowerPoint, although everybody thinks you must. And there you are. You can have a look at some of these.
Okay. Yep. What is the general structure of any presentation?
Okay.
Yep.
Look all right.
Go up a little bit.
Up?
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm just checking to make sure that you'd actually read that. Because occasionally you could actually write something, but there could actually be a slight better way of...
Actually, well, it's got the blue line under it, so I need to...
check why.
Do a little bit more proofreading. I thought I had that. So there's proofreading to be done. Okay. So thanks for spotting that. Okay, so there's the quiz, and we'll get the answers to that later.
Yeah.
I mean, the questions in general, I think, look all right. So the marking guide for... well, we saw some of those questions. So here are my instructions to the assessors, as to what they should be looking for.
Okay.
So I've got the first question. So I think it's fairly flexible because I've got there's in those first couple of questions there's quite a number of things they could describe, and here so you've got to describe two of a big list. So not too difficult, but not too, but you need to to be reasonably familiar with it. I've addressed safety, of course, preparation, okay, and covered those things, and the delivery.
You've got the EG separated.
Okay, yep.
That should be together.
I always get EG wrong.
So put that down, just so you know you can fix it.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll move on.
Yeah.
The self-reflective log, 2 strengths and 2 examples, 2 opportunities. So, they've got to discuss a couple of things, okay?
Yeah.
Here's my answer key, so you just, tick off the answers when you get that. And my instructions to the assessor as to how to use the various instruments and where to send them and what to do and all that sort of stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So this is just the record of the assessment results, which is not done yet, obviously. The competency map. So you might like to have a look at that to see that everything matches up, and you'll see.
Where's it? I'll just go
Down or up? Yeah.
Up a little bit. Oh, yeah. That's all right. Okay.
So I've got several things there. Planning, prep one, presentation one, presentation two, reviewing the written question and the quiz, which I must write. Okay.
Okay.
And you can see how the matrix relates to those, So plan and document, presentation approach, and intended outcomes. Obviously, that's on planning.
Okay, the two presentations, delivering a presentation. Vision. Yep. Written questions. Well, you'll have that all the way through. Most parts.
Well, the written questions come, I think. The written questions
will be under review. The presentation at the beginning.
There's sort of theoretical aspects dealt with there, So knowledge. This is the delivering the presentations is performance evidence. The written questions is knowledge evidence, and the planning documents are sort of performance evidence.
Yeah.
Okay, and
review you can almost have anywhere after each section to actually when you're doing and asking them if they understand and all that.
Yeah,
it's almost a review right from the beginning.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But the main sort of instrumental things I've got for that are the written questions and the quiz, and the self-reflective log, obviously. Yeah. Because that seeks to to them to talk about their presentations. Okay. And the foundation skills, what ones and what level is needed.
Yeah.
What they need to be able to do to engage in this course.
Okay. Well, there's another little option you can do is when you're doing your beginning, you could almost actually get them to work in pairs, or to actually so they have to work with someone else.
In preparing the presentations,
start,
ideas. Well, that's a good idea.
That can be a great way to start.
Okay, but I wouldn't be assessing them on
no. But they can actually build off each other.
Yeah, sure.
That can go a long way to getting them to understand. Because sometimes one will do this, somebody else say, "Oh no, blah blah blah," and you're right on the back of the track again.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do that.
Okay. Performance evidence. Well, that's pretty straightforward. You need the log. There are any quizzes.
Do the observation. Well, the quizzes are more knowledge, but the performance is collected through the observation checklist, and through which I'll be, noting down how their presentation goes. Okay.
Conditions for assessment, safe environment,
and the necessary
equipment,
tools.
and anything you need.
Yeah.
Okay, report on the trial of an assessment tool. So will this be done at the near the end, or do you planning to do it part of the way through?
Well, this is the validation of the tool,
which is almost at the very end.
So no, I don't think it'll be. This is sort of. I've just left it in there for. Let's see. Well, this is a trial. I mean, we can use this to
see how it went.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's a useful tool to see if you need to make any changes or do something a different way around.
But also, you know, for you to see what you think about all this, you know, what I've done here. So we're sort of essentially validating it. So if you know anything that you have any problems with. So do you have any recommendations for me at this stage? I mean, you've said a couple of things that I've just jotted down here.
Yeah.
Anything else?
You've basically got just about everything there. You'll find the first time you do one, you'll say, okay, this needs changing.
Yeah.
But quite often you won't know that until you've totally done the first one.
Right, yeah. Okay.
There will be little things you just got to tweak a few things.
Yeah. So, okay. Let's go down. Well, there's a feedback form that's for the candidates after the course.
And they're actually doing a.
That'll be handed out by sent to their company, and they can hand it out and fill it, package it up, and send it back. So I won't be present if they want to say bad things about me. Here now, this is what we're doing: the assessment tool validation record. Yep. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Okay, the RTO is ABC Training House validation approach. Whoops. Where face to face. That's how we're doing it. So I'll tick that. Yeah, okay. Purpose, validate an assessment tool. Okay, I'll write down the thing later. The resources are the assessment tool and a computer and a desk. Participants, John Dolby, and I've got this elsewhere. I've recorded this information elsewhere, but your name and position, and this is a code of conflict, a code of conduct, I should say, not a code of conflict. Okay, so you know we actually did this before, but I was a little bit got it a little bit wrong, so we have to do it again. So we went through this at both times.
But at least it's a learning. This is how you.
That's right.
Get better.
So we've agreed to all these terms, you know, and to be nice to each other, and you know, all that sort of stuff. So, right, have we clearly identified the unit? I think you know that's there.
Yeah.
We've addressed elements and performance criteria.
Yep.
Foundation skills to the level described in the unit.
Yes.
Performance evidence. So I showed you I've got the performance evidence is in the quizzes and the checklist. I'm sorry, not the quizzes, the checklist, but the delivery, the planning documents, and through the checklist. Knowledge evidence, quizzes, written questions.
The two presentations.
Yep. Okay, so, and the conditions for assessment, I've talked about, you know, what's needed.
Yep.
Does it include activities that reflect realistic workplace environment? Well, the key word there is realistic. I mean, they're making a presentation on any subject they like. Now, quite often at in a workplace, you'd be told, make a presentation on, you know, X, Y, or Z, and it may not be, you know, their own subject. But I think as a starter, as you said earlier, better to give them a bit of latitude here. So,
well, the other option you've got is whether you're going to do one presentation on anything, and one presentation on something to do with work.
Oh,
that's another option, because the first one gets them the confidence. And then quite often, doesn't matter what it is at work, it's something at work.
Well, that's something I could consider. Yeah.
Yeah, because that will then give them.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. That might be something. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That I could have one presentation on whatever you like, and one presentation on something that you might do at work.
Yeah, because that would then include.
That makes it a bit more reflective of realistic work conditions, because this will be a task skill. They have to manage that skill. Contingency management. Well, things happen. And job role environmental skills. So yes, if I change it to that, so I think that's a pretty significant change.
Yeah.
So I can do that. The evidence. Well, you've seen my assessment. So does it provide evidence that it is all those things there?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yeah, it's valid, sufficient, current, and authentic.
And pitched at the correct AQF level.
Yes, because you're actually starting at the beginning.
Yeah.
This is like the first section on their way up.
Yeah. And free of unnecessary assessment tasks. So I've been pretty conscious of not putting too much assessment in, because it is an elementary level. And reasonable range of flexible options for how candidates complete and submit text assessment tasks. Well, I think that's there.
Yeah. Well, one of the things you may need to do is this is through the business they're working for, that to give them time to be able to do it as well.
Oh, I think that's been organised already in the general overall plan. But just check that one.
Because occasionally that sometimes gets missed. Everyone's going, yeah. What?
Yeah. Right. Okay. Where do we go? So that. What else have we got here? Available support and guidance if needed.
Well, you've had that. You've got your backup plan if you need to get them onto it.
Actually, I'm not sure I have done number 9 in the instructions to candidates. So perhaps I'd better look at that and see if I've got available support and guidance. I think I might have, but like any problems, get in touch with X, Y, or Z, these people or that person. So
that should automatically come in your planning.
Right. Okay. My assessment tool, was it reasonably easy to read and logical?
Yeah, it's quite easy to follow. Yeah.
It's got information instructions. We went through all that, so that was all okay. You could understand it. And information for the candidates themselves. How was that?
No, that was good.
Okay. Okay, well this will be version 2, so I'll put that in. Version 2. Version control. And mechanisms, well I've got all those mechanisms to record all of these things, So can I tick all those?
Yeah, because you've already got a straightforward, they sign to actually do it.
I think we're just about there, John. And what's this? Right, allocate. Well, okay. I've noted down some of the things you've recommended there, so I'll fill them in later. In this, the outcomes required. All right, John. Any questions or comments? Further questions or comments?
No, that seems to be good. The only thing I've got is before they start, do they get a little booklet or a little sheet to actually, so they can look at it before they're not coming in blind?
That's right. Yeah. Okay, thank you, John. And we have done that.
No worries. Now you need me to sign something too.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I need to get an electronic signature off you, yes. Okay, let's close that up.